What if I told you the very garden centers promising a lush green paradise are actually selling products that will ultimately destroy it? Year after year, millions of people empty their wallets at big box stores buying bright, shiny packages that promise zero weeds and instant blooms. But they end up with barren dirt and hollow bank accounts. Today we are exposing the heavily marketed lies that are silently killing your backyard ecosystem. You will want to stick around for the final countdown, because what we reveal goes against everything you have been taught about managing your property. Remember to hit that subscribe button, because we upload new videos every single week, connecting and sharing real knowledge to help you save money and grow smarter. So let us get started. Number 10. Landscape fabric or weed barriers. Walk into any home improvement store, and the pitch is incredibly seductive for anyone tired of pulling weeds. They tell you to just roll out this heavy-duty black fabric over your beds, cover it with a few inches of mulch, and you will permanently banish invasive plants from your garden forever. It sounds like the absolute ultimate low-maintenance dream for your backyard, tricking you into thinking you can simply buy your way out of doing any real yard work while protecting your precious weekend hours. But here is the gut-wrenching scientific reality that they do not print on the glossy label. Over the next year or two, that organic mulch you placed on top naturally breaks down into a thin layer of fresh compost right above the barrier. Weed seeds simply blow in on the wind, settle right on top of that new dirt, and send their roots shooting straight down through the microscopic pores of the fabric. When you finally try to pull those weeds out, their roots are locked into the plastic mesh like concrete, making them infinitely harder to remove. Worse yet, this synthetic barrier completely cuts off the essential oxygen exchange your soil desperately needs, effectively suffocating your earthworms and destroying the microscopic soil food web. Instead of turning your garden into a suffocating toxic wasteland, look to the natural and virtually free method of sheet mulching. Simply lay down a solid layer of plain brown unprinted cardboard directly over your dirt and top it with about 3 to 4 inches of natural wood chips. The thick cardboard blocks out the sun to smother the existing weeds, but within a few short months, it naturally decomposes into the earth, becoming a massive feast for your earthworms and building rich topsoil rather than choking it out. Your wallet will thank you for skipping those expensive rolls of plastic, and your plants will thrive in living, breathing earth instead of being entombed in a corporate marketing gimmick. Number 9. Cheap plastic or hollow aluminum hand tools. Head to the seasonal aisle, and you will find these brightly colored garden trowels and cultivators perfectly displayed. They cost just around $5 a piece and feel incredibly lightweight in your hand. The big box stores market them as the perfect, easy starter tools for anyone looking to get their hands dirty on a sunny weekend. It seems like a no-brainer way to save your wallet while picking up everything you need for your new hobby. But the harsh physical reality will hit you exactly 5 minutes into digging your first hole. Across much of the country, your natural backyard dirt consists of heavily compacted clay soil or is packed with hidden rocks. The moment you use that cheap plastic shovel to pry out a stubborn stone or try to slice through a thick buried root, that flimsy handle will instantly bend in half or snap right off. You are left with a useless, jagged piece of plastic in the dirt, proving that buying the cheapest option is actually the most expensive way to garden because you have to constantly replace them. Instead of throwing your hard-earned money straight into the landfill, you need to adopt a buy-it-once-for-life mentality. Skip the pastel-colored plastic and invest in a solid forged steel trowel or a high-quality Japanese hori-hori gardening knife. These heavy-duty tools might cost you a bit more upfront, but they will slice through compacted clay and rocky soil like butter without ever bending. Your hands will be safer from sudden snaps, your wallet will stop draining every spring, and you will actually enjoy digging in your backyard instead of fighting with broken toys. Number 8. Peat pots and jiffy pellets. When spring fever hits, the garden centers are flooded with these clever little brown peat pots and expandable seed-starting pellets. The marketing pitch is incredibly convincing for beginners, telling you to start your seeds indoors and then simply plant the entire pot directly into your garden beds. They promise that the pot will magically dissolve into the earth on its own, guaranteeing zero transplant shock and perfectly undisturbed roots for your fragile seedlings. But here is the brutal biological truth about what happens during a blazing American summer. In most states across the country, the heat will absolutely bake your topsoil dry. When these peat pots are buried in your backyard and miss even one day of watering, they harden into an impenetrable suit of cardboard armor. Your young plants become completely root-bound, trapped inside this rigid shell, unable to spread out and find the moisture they desperately need, ultimately leaving you with stunted growth and dying vegetables. To protect your backyard investment and ensure explosive root growth, you must ditch these biodegradable traps entirely. The smarter alternative is to simply use reusable plastic nursery pots and carefully slide the plant out before it goes into the ground, letting those roots run free. If you want a zero-waste option, invest in a heavy-duty soil block maker, which uses nothing but compressed potting mix to hold its shape. Your plants will establish faster, your yields will multiply, and your wallet will thank you for never buying those useless little brown cups again. Number 7. Pre-mixed liquid fertilizers. Walk down the fertilizer aisle and you will be greeted by rows of brightly colored plastic spray bottles. The big box stores aggressively market these ready-to-use liquid feeds as the ultimate convenience for a busy homeowner. They promise that with a few quick pumps, you can instantly blast your hungry plants with a magical elixir for massive blooms and dark green leaves. It feels like a foolproof shortcut to a gorgeous backyard without ever having to measure or mix anything yourself. But let us look at the infuriating mathematical reality behind that $10 bottle. When you buy one of those pre-mixed pump sprayers, you are literally paying top dollar for 99% municipal tap water and a cheap plastic container. The actual volume of active nutrients inside is shockingly low, making it an absolute masterclass in corporate marketing gimmicks. You are essentially paying massive markups just to lug heavy water home in single-use plastics, rapidly draining your wallet for a product that provides almost zero long-term benefit to your soil biology. If you want to feed your backyard without being scammed, you need to buy your nutrients in their raw, concentrated form. Grab a 1-pound box of high-quality water-soluble powder or a bag of organic granular fertilizer instead. A single $15 box of dry concentrate can be mixed with your own tap water at home to create hundreds of gallons of powerful liquid feed. Your plants will receive a vastly superior nutritional profile. You will cut down on useless plastic waste, and your wallet will retain the cash that the big brands tried to steal with their convenience tax. Number 6. Boxed wildflower seed mixes. These beautiful little cardboard tubes and shaker boxes are strategically placed right by the cash register to catch your eye. The pitch tells you to simply scatter these magical seeds across a patch of bare dirt, and within weeks you will be rewarded with a breathtaking meadow of colorful blooms. They market it as an effortless way to attract butterflies and save the bees, convincing you that a vibrant pollinator paradise is just a few shakes away. But the devastating biological reality hiding inside that box is enough to make any master gardener cringe. If you actually inspect the contents, you will find that over 80% of the weight is nothing more than cheap sawdust or crushed hulls used as a deceptive filler. Even worse, these generic national blends are notorious for being packed with highly aggressive invasive species that do not belong in your local ecosystem. When you scatter them in your backyard, those fast-growing invaders will violently outcompete your natural flora, choking out beneficial plants and wreaking havoc on the exact local wildlife you were trying to save. To build a true ecological haven without introducing a toxic wasteland of invasive weeds, you must be highly selective about what you sow. Skip the deceptive generic shaker boxes and source true native seeds from reputable local nurseries or specialized growers. Buying individual packets of species that are historically indigenous to your specific region ensures they will actually thrive in your climate. Your backyard will become a genuine sanctuary for native pollinators, and you will protect your property from being overrun by the big box store's cheap botanical mistakes. Number 5. Gravel for pot bottoms. The advice often comes straight from the mouths of well-meaning employees walking the aisles of the garden center. They tell you to buy a heavy bag of river rock or gravel and pour a thick layer at the very bottom of your favorite containers before adding any dirt. The legendary pitch promises that this hidden layer of stones will magically improve drainage and keep your expensive patio plants from ever drowning. It sounds like a completely logical physical solution to protect your backyard investments from heavy summer storms. But this is perhaps the single most persistent and destructive physics myth in the entire gardening world. When you add gravel beneath your dirt, it does not actually improve drainage at all. Instead, it creates a disastrous scientific phenomenon known as a perched water table. Your potting soil acts exactly like a giant sponge, and it physically refuses to let the water drop down into the rocks until that soil is 100% saturated. By adding gravel, you are literally just pushing that pooling water higher up into the container, suffocating roots, and practically guaranteeing massive fungal rot right in your own backyard. To keep your potted plants thriving and your wallet full, you must completely ignore this outdated wives' tale. The true alternative is to fill your entire container, from the very bottom to the top rim, with nothing but a high-quality, lightweight potting mix. Just ensure that your decorative pots have plenty of large drainage holes drilled directly into the base so gravity can do its natural job. Your plants will develop incredibly deep and healthy root systems, and you will never again waste your hard-earned cash buying heavy bags of rocks just to accidentally murder your favorite patio flowers. Number 4. Pruning paint or tree wound sealer. Walk past the pesticide aisle and you will inevitably spot these aerosol cans of thick black tar. The big box stores aggressively market this chemical goop as an absolute necessity every time you trim a branch off a tree. They claim that painting this heavy sealant over a fresh cut will instantly block out dangerous bacteria, fungus, and wood-boring insects. It preys on your fear of losing a mature, expensive shade tree by offering a quick chemical band-aid in a convenient spray can. But the harsh scientific reality, backed by major American agricultural universities, is that this product is completely obsolete and actively destructive. When you slather that thick black paint over a fresh pruning cut, you are permanently sealing the wood and trapping natural moisture deep inside the trunk. This creates the absolute perfect dark and humid breeding ground for the exact fungal rot and decay you are desperately trying to prevent. Mother Nature is far smarter than a corporate marketing gimmick, and healthy trees already possess an incredibly flawless natural defense mechanism called compartmentalization to isolate their own wounds. The absolute best thing you can do for the long-term health of your backyard canopy is to spray absolutely nothing at all. Let the tree heal itself naturally with fresh air and sunlight. Your only job is to ensure you make a perfectly clean cut using razor-sharp sanitized tools, slicing right at the natural swelling known as the branch collar, without leaving a jagged stub. Leaving the chemical tar on the store shelf will save your wallet from a completely useless purchase, and it will save your beloved trees from a slow rotting death suffocating beneath a layer of toxic paint. Number 3. Electronic bug zappers. Walk into the outdoor living section, and you will hear the electric hum of these glowing blue lanterns. The big box stores market them as the ultimate high-tech shield for your backyard patio, promising to annihilate mosquitoes and clear out the pests chewing on your precious vegetable leaves. They sell you the dream of enjoying a peaceful summer evening outdoors, completely free from itchy bites and annoying swarms, all with absolutely zero effort on your part. But here is the infuriating scientific reality about what that crackling blue light is actually doing to your property. Mosquitoes are biologically driven by the carbon dioxide in your human breath, not by ultraviolet light. Those satisfying electric snaps you hear all night long are actually the sounds of thousands of highly beneficial insects being needlessly slaughtered, including the bees, moths, ladybugs, and praying mantises that pollinate your crops and naturally eat destructive aphids. Even worse, what intensely bright light acts like a massive beacon, actively pulling hungry pests from your neighbor's yard directly into your backyard. To genuinely protect your backyard ecosystem and your own skin. You must unplug this destructive marketing gimmick permanently. The smarter alternative is to foster a healthy environment for natural predators and simply dump out any hidden ounces or gallons of standing water around your property, where mosquitoes actually breed. If a serious aphid infestation breaks out, use a targeted spray of natural cold-pressed neem oil right at dusk when the sun dips below the horizon. Your wallet will save on wasted electricity, and your garden will thrive with the help of those vital pollinating insects you finally stopped electrocuting. Number 2. Cheap bag topsoil. Right out in the parking lot of every home improvement store sits a massive mountain of incredibly cheap bag topsoil. Priced at just $1 or $2 for a heavy 40-pound bag, the marketing pitch is virtually impossible for a budget-conscious gardener to resist. They promise it is the perfect economical solution for filling up your brand-new raised beds or leveling out those low spots in your lawn. It feels like an absolute steal, tricking you into loading up your truck with dozens of bags to conquer your weekend landscaping projects. But slice open one of those deeply discounted bags, and the toxic reality of what you just hauled home will make your stomach drop. Instead of rich, dark earth, you will often find a horrifying mixture packed with shredded plastic wrappers, broken glass, and massive amounts of raw, uncomposted wood chips. When you bury raw wood in your backyard, it acts like a biological vacuum, rapidly pulling vital nitrogen straight out of the surrounding soil to fuel its own decomposition process. Your expensive vegetable plants will suddenly turn a sickly yellow and severely stunt their growth, literally starving to death, while planted in the very dirt you bought to feed them. If you want to build a thriving raised bed without accidentally poisoning it, you have to completely ignore those bottom-dollar bags. The superior alternative is to invest in a premium raised bed mix, or, if you need serious volume, call a local landscape supply yard and buy organic compost by the cubic yard. Having bulk material delivered by the truckload is exponentially cheaper per cubic foot and provides a vastly superior biological foundation for your roots. Your backyard will be filled with clean living soil, and your wallet will dodge the massive hidden costs of trying to fix a nutrient-starved garden. Number 1. Broad-spectrum pesticides and chemical weed killers. Walk down the most heavily trafficked aisle of any garden center, and you will be surrounded by massive jugs of harsh chemical sprays. The big box stores aggressively market these broad-spectrum killers as the ultimate nuclear option for a flawless yard. They promise that with just one simple application, every stubborn weed will instantly die right down to the root, while all the annoying bugs completely disappear from your property. It is designed to prey on your frustration, offering an effortless liquid shortcut to achieve a pristine magazine cover lawn without ever breaking a sweat. But the terrifying chemical reality of what you are actually spraying is nothing short of an ecological disaster. These systemic herbicides and pesticides do not just kill the weeds and bugs, they seep deep down into your property and completely annihilate the fragile soil food web. When you repeatedly douse your property in these harsh synthetic chemicals, you are literally turning your living, breathing earth into a sterile, toxic wasteland, leaving it hardened and utterly devoid of life. Furthermore, the lingering cancerous residues left behind are the absolute last thing you ever want, contaminating the leafy greens you plan to harvest and feed to your family. To truly conquer weeds without poisoning your own backyard, you must entirely reject these toxic corporate shortcuts. The most effective alternative is simply pulling them by hand, or investing in a propane weed torch to quickly burn out the aggressive growth hiding in the cracks of your driveway. For tough spots, you can mix high-concentration horticultural vinegar with a few drops of dish soap and spray it directly on the foliage during a blistering hot afternoon. Your family will be far safer, your wallet will stop funding chemical conglomerates, and your precious soil will remain vibrantly alive to support your garden for generations. A thriving garden is never bought in a plastic bottle from a big box store. It is carefully cultivated right there in the living soil of your own backyard. True self-reliance means working with nature instead of constantly fighting against it with expensive synthetic marketing gimmicks. So please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are ready to grow smarter. Head down to the comments right now and let me know which one of these terrible garden center products you have accidentally wasted your hard-earned money on in the past.